Thank you. Good morning. Good morning to all of you joining us here in the chapel and online. We're especially glad to have those of you who may be with us for the first time, and we hope to see you again soon. I'd like to remind you to please silence your cell phones or other devices at this time. My name is Jan Apland-Curtis, and we are pleased today to welcome Trystan Reese, an award-winning author, facilitator, and coach focusing on diversity, equity, and inclusion. He has been organizing with the trans community for nearly 2 decades, serving on the front lines of this generation's most significant fights for LGBTQ+ justice. An accomplished storyteller, Trystan has toured with the Moth Main Stage's renowned team, and his story was subsequently included in the Moth's 2024 anthology, A Point of Beauty. Today, Trystan will share his experiences of transgender pregnancy and what it was like to carry that pregnancy publicly. Our land acknowledgement. Eastrose Fellowship sits on the occupied territory of the Clackamas Chinook people, who were forcibly displaced from this land to the Grand Ronde Reservation in 1855. We acknowledge the sacrifices endured by the ancestors of this land and that our presence here today is only possible because of the injustices committed against them. We recognize the inherent sovereignty of the Chinook Nation and Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde, who carry on the traditions, history, and legacy held by their ancestors from time immemorial to this day. We seek meaningful relationships with these communities that foster repair. Now let's take a moment and greet each other here today, both in the chapel and online. Please stand and face the cameras by the clock on the back wall, and let's wave to our friends viewing online. And then next turn to your neighbor and say hello. For our online guests, if you would like to share a joy or sorrow during that portion of the service, you can do so by entering it into the YouTube chat, and those will be shared aloud with everyone. I also encourage you to identify yourself in the chat so we may better acknowledge your presence with us today. Our opening words are by Mary Reese. Come into this place. Come into this place with your whole self, the parts that are raw and exposed, the part that is beaming with joy, the part that is seeking the truth, the new, and the possibility. Come into this place. Open your heart. Lay down your burden. Lift up your hope for something new to happen. Come into this place with fellow travelers on the journey, some faces new and others familiar, and all welcoming you here now to this moment. Come, let us worship together. Light our chalice with these words by Julianne Lepp. We seek our place in the world and the answers to our heart's deep questions. As we seek, may our hearts be open to unexpected answers. May the light of our chalice remind us that this is a community of warmth, of wisdom, and welcoming of multiple truths. Now please rise as you're willing and able, in body or spirit, and we'll sing number 1019 in the Teal hymnal, Everything Possible. The words will be on the screen.
Good morning. Today's story is called Red, a crayons story, with words and pictures by Michael Hall. Isn't it good? Oh, good. Yeah, some of you have heard it before. It's a really good one. In it, we're going to meet a crayon whose label says he's red, but sometimes the labels we carry don't reflect who we truly are inside. Red works hard to be what others expect of him, but it just doesn't feel right. The question is, will he find the courage and the community he needs to show his authentic self? Let's find out in Red, a crayon story. He was red, but he wasn't very good at it. Oh dear. His teacher thought he needed more practice. I'll draw a red strawberry, then you draw a red strawberry. You can do this, really. But he couldn't, really. Like this? Oh my, let's try again. His mother thought he needed to mix with other colors. Why don't you two go out and draw a nice round orange? A really big one, a really orange one. You were right. They made a big greenish one. Yuck. Oops. His grandparents thought he wasn't warm enough. Your class is making self-portraits for Parents' Night. Wear this warm red scarf. Nice, it's so you. But it so wasn't. Oh, dear me. Everyone seemed to have something to say. Sometimes I wonder if he's really red at all. Don't be silly, it says red on his label. He came that way from the factory. Frankly, I don't think he's very bright. Well, I think he's lazy. Right, he's got to press harder, really apply himself. Give him time, he'll catch on. Of course he will. But he didn't catch on. Green frog, black sheep, brown cow, red ack. All the art supplies wanted to help. The masking tape thought he was broken inside. This will help hold you together. The scissors thought his label was too tight. One snip should do it. I thought he wasn't sharp enough. Stay still now. But even with all our help and all his hard work, he just couldn't get the hang of it. One day he met a new friend. Will you make a blue ocean for my boat? I can't, I'm red. Will you try? So he did. Thank you, it's perfect. You're welcome, it was easy. And he didn't stop there. Bluebells, bluebird, blueberries, blue jeans, blue whale, I'm blue.
Maybe it'll fix this label.
He was blue, and everyone was talking. My son is brilliant. Who could have known he was blue? I always said he was blue. It was obvious. His blue ocean really lifted me. All of his work makes me happy. His blue strawberries are my favorites. He's so intense. I'm going to make a green lizard with him, a really big one. I hear he's working on a huge new project. He's really reaching for the sky. And he really was. Isn't it a beautiful day? It's perfect. As Unitarian Universalists, we affirm the dignity and worth of every person. We all deserve to be seen and celebrated for who we truly are, not just the labels that others might place on us. Do you have a question?
About that page was not in our book at home.
It's the back cover.
That cover.
Now let's say goodbye to the grown-ups and head back to Ari.
I never see that part.
If the adults along the center aisle will form a bridge, we'll sing the children out.
Behold you in our love as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go. To nurture the spark of your precious life. Behold you in our love as you go.
We will now enter our time of silent and spoken meditation. So I invite you now into a quiet time. If you are comfortable, close your eyes Place your feet on the floor, uncross your arms, drop your shoulders, and take a very big exhale. Then begin your intentional breathing. 4 beats in slowly through your nose, 5 or 6 beats out through your mouth in a steady rhythm, creating peace and spaciousness as you move from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet, grounded on the earth. As you are breathing, I offer these words by Mary Reese. If God is your strength and companion, and prayer the means of centering your thoughts, there is room for you here. If the teachings of the Buddha give you clarity and calm in the midst of human striving, there is room for you here. If Gaia's seasonal rhythms lead you best through the myriad steps of life's great dance, there is room for you here. If the still, mysterious capacity and power of the mind stirs your imagination and quickens your pulse, there is room for you here. Rest now beside that spring, wherever it is for you, and let your attention go to the small places inside or out in the great wide world, places or people in need of healing, or for which your heart is filled with thanksgiving. And in that spirit, let us be silent together for a time. Come back to this space. Please remain seated and sing number 352 in the gray hymnal, Find a Stillness. The words will also be on the screen.
Hello, friends. I know you're not Quakers, but I hope it's okay that I call you friends anyway. What a delight to be here with you all as we kick off Pride Month in Portland. I believe that the only reason we celebrate Pride in July in Portland is logistical. It's too hot in June, and there are too many competing events in June. But I think a really important part of what queer and trans people bring is the sense that we can just make it up, right? That there is possibility, and we always ask, why not? When the rest of the world says, because this is the way that it's always been. And that's what I would love to talk with you all about today. Starting with my absolute favorite Pride event ever, which is the Trans Family Reunion. It happens every Friday evening before Pride weekend, and it is a time when the trans community and our allies can come together. It is not sponsored by any event, any organization. No one is trying to sell anything. We are literally just a community who is delighted to be together and feels interconnected and interwoven into each other's lives. And I got to be there 2 days ago, and that was when I felt the most pride I'd felt in a long time, that feeling that who I am and what I am is inherently good and is inherently valuable. And I think this year, I say this every year, but this year I think we need that lesson more than ever. The opposite of pride, of course, is shame. That feeling that who I am and what I am is not inherently good, is not inherently valuable. And shame plays a very important role anthropologically in our brains. It keeps us in line. It keeps us from violating some cultural norm that might result in us being ostracized or kicked out. And all of us need community. We need belonging more than we need almost anything else. And unfortunately, shame plays a powerful role in keeping us from envisioning what is possible. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about what is possible. I'm a transgender man myself. That means that I was assigned female at birth. I was raised as a girl by my family, and because in trans years I am considered very old, I didn't know any trans people growing up. I was called a trans elder last week, and I was like, I need you to... Just going to hit pause for 1 second. It is, of course, funny because I'm only 42. It's also not funny because in the trans community, we are often robbed of our elders because this world does not know how to see us as valuable, does not know how to help us learn about our bodies and pay attention to some important signs that there might be something wrong, and the systems weren't built for us, and that means we often don't seek out help when we need it. Sometimes we don't even know that we need help that we can ask for. So when I came out as transgender, I was 20 years old. I believe I had met exactly one trans person, but that one trans person was enough for me to realize that there was in fact nothing wrong with me as I had thought there was for 20 years. There was nothing wrong with me. I wasn't broken. I didn't need to be fixed. I was just transgender. I was just different. And so for me, what that revelation meant was that I could transition medically. Not every trans person wants to or needs to do that or has access to that. I did, and I wanted to. And throughout that process, I ended up keeping all of my internal organs. And what that meant for me was that I would eventually be able to grow a baby inside of my own body, which is, by the way, a very strange way of reproducing, I think, is to grow a whole other person inside of your person. I don't know who came up with that idea. I would have picked something else, having been through the process myself. But here is the hands that we are all dealt as humans. But in 2010, I fell in love, really, I think probably for the first time in my life. And I think that was the first time that I really realized this idea of possibility. Because I definitely believe that I would never find anybody who could love me as a transgender person. I had never seen it happen. Certainly when I came out to my mother as transgender around age 22, it took me a little while to get up the guts to tell her. And that was one of her first concerns for me was, would I ever be able to find love? And I think as a parent, one of the things that I most care about is that the world will love my child as much as I do, my children as much as I do. But In 2010, I met the most beautiful person that I have ever met in my life. And spoiler alert, 15 years later, we are still together. I really felt that door open for the first time that I thought I had closed and locked when I came out as trans. I thought I had to choose between two paths, being honest about who I am, but likely, not finding a place for myself in the world, or possibly not. Or living a lie. And I chose to be authentic to myself, and luckily it was a false choice. I found someone, we fell in love, and started building a life together when a year later we got a phone call that his niece and nephew needed a place to stay. And could they come and stay with us? And we carried on the sacred tradition of queer people picking up where straight people left off. That's science. Often when kids need a home, the people who don't already have kids are the ones for whom making kids would be a little bit more challenging. And so we invited a very traumatized 1-year-old and 3-year-old into our homes. I do not recommend becoming a parent in this way, by the way. It's weird to grow a whole person inside of your body. It is equally weird to have 2 children dumped on your doorstep. We should have taken a class or something. Did you know that kids' pants are adjustable inside? That's what the elastic and buttons are for. I did not know that. A mom at the park had to pull me aside and tell me after my kids' pants kept falling down. And she was like, "What do you think those buttons are for?" And I was like, "How would I know?" So having become a parent overnight, I think was another way that I started to really rethink what is possible. Why not, right? I didn't think I would ever become a parent, and yet here were these kids who needed a family, and that's how I was raised. I have a veritable cacophony of people that were in and out of my house growing up. My mom was the kind of person where if you needed a mom, she would be that for you. And if you needed a home, then we would be that for you. And so when these kids showed up, I had learned from my mom to invite them in. And as they grew and got older, we desperately tried to reunite them with their first family, and that ended up not being possible. And so we became their forever family, and we adopted them formally. And they are now 14 and 17. Do not ask me how that's going. That's always people are like, "Oh my God, how are they? How are they doing?" And I'm like, they're teenagers, so it's great. It's so good. Very excited to be taking my 14-year-old to Dharma camp this week, in which she will be taken care of by other people for 5 days. And they're Buddhists, so I'm sure it'll be fine. But I will leave my phone on just in case. But they were delightful and hard, as any children are, and particularly children whose first families were not able to love them in the ways that they needed. That leaves an indelible mark that makes it very hard to feel that sense of pride, right? That sense of who and what I am is inherently good. If the first people who are supposed to teach you that were not able to teach you that, it's a lifelong wound that takes a lot of tending to and a lot of work. But as we adopted them and we sort of settled into a bit of a groove, I started to have these dreams about a baby. And for me as a transgender person, in the trans community, having our own children, either by picking up where straight people left off, or by using our own anatomy and physiology to do that, it's not a new thing. It's not strange or different. We've always had to sort of take the broken shards of glass that life has given us and cobble them together to make a mosaic that is more beautiful and stronger than what was there before. But I still had to do a lot of learning. I emailed my dad, who is a physician, and I said, "Hey, Dad, what do we know about trans pregnancy?" Because I had known it happened in my own community for years, for at least 23 years as of this year. But I am a little bit of a nerd, and just because it can happen doesn't mean that it should happen necessarily. We don't know. And so I wanted to see the data. And my dad, being the physician that he is, emailed me back, pulled studies, attached, stopped testosterone, all else fine. Thanks, Dad. So good. I think a normal parent would be like, is this something that you want to do? How can I help? Nope. All fine. And so I then had to do the very hard work of convincing my partner that this was a good idea. My partner was mostly worried about what it would be like for me to navigate the world as a pregnant man. I live in a world of rainbows and unicorns, and so I thought that people were going to be like, this is amazing. They said 2 men couldn't make a baby. You all you hacked the code. And some people they were like, this is, really great. Mostly parents of trans kids were excited about that because, again, it's part of that narrative that we're told that maybe trans people won't be able to find love, right? That maybe we're closing doors that are open for other people. So a lot of parents of trans youth were excited. It did mean, however, that they went back to asking when grandbabies were going to happen, which is kind of one of the benefits of being an LGBTQ plus person, is that you don't get harassed as much by your parents and grandparents. So I had to issue a public apology to all of my trans friends on Facebook saying, I'm sorry that now your parents will start harassing you about making grandbabies. But even while some people were excited and were really moved that this meant more possibility for them and for other people, not everyone was. And it was very challenging to navigate the world that would like to keep everyone in line, thank you very much. And a lot of people tried to put shame onto me, and some of it I picked up, and some of it I didn't. But mostly my community sort of closed ranks around me and protected me in the best ways that they could, while I could still grow a human inside of my torso, and still try to tell our story, because we did feel an obligation to do so, a responsibility to do so. Being in Portland, where we have a community of real-life support, and a lot of people don't. Being a white couple, right, and not having to navigate transphobia and racism, that really, I think, was a responsibility we took seriously. And having parents who loved us and supported us. Again, that can be a real shield against the slings and arrows of the world. And so those things being in place, we felt that it was our duty to tell our story publicly and to help more trans people see what might be possible for them. No pressure, no one has to have a baby, but if you want to, it's possible. And so we wanted to do that. So in 2016, I got pregnant. And as I've mentioned already, it was super cool and very weird growing a person inside of your body. People often ask me what was it like to be a pregnant man, at which point I have to remind them that how would I know, because they've never been anything else. They have nothing to compare it to, other than, again, just like it was, I don't know, it was really cool. Our older kids were also super interested and excited in what was happening at each week. This is the week when the fingerprints start to form and how cool that is. And this is the week when the ear starts to, connect to the brain. So the shapes of sounds that they hear through the, through the uterus, actually start to connect, and the voices they hear will be familiar when they're born. The kids thought that that was very cool. My daughter was super into teaching the fetus math. So she would frequently get right up to my belly and be like, 2 + 2 is 4. I'll teach you more when you get out. So that was really fun and cool. And even while I had intended to tell our story in a very controlled way, on a podcast or two, just kind of so my mom could send the link to her friends and they would understand how it is that her son was pregnant. The story blew up pretty quickly. I really wasn't prepared for how attached the world is to how things have always been. And I started to feel how scared people are when they realize that, in fact, they could have had many more possibilities than they were ever told. I heard from a lot of men whom I think were not allowed to cry when they were little, whose dads told them this is what it means to be a man, and then here I come along and I'm like, but what if not, though? And I think a lot of people had to then reflect back on their lives and think about all the ways that they had made themselves small and how painful that has been. And to have someone come along and be like, none of that had to be, and I'm really sorry, was painful for them. And the fact that I heard from many more men than women, I think, is very telling about how mean and harsh we are towards men, and how limited men can be in terms of connecting to their own possibility and humanity. But I'm very lucky because I did give birth to the cutest little baby. I'm just kidding. He's just as cute as my other kids. And we named him Leo, which is my partner's middle name, which is my eldest son's middle name. And he is not here with us at this second because he is at Pride right now, helping my partner staff a booth at the parade and the festival, and so that's going to be very fun. If he were here, he would tell you that he is not my baby. He's a big boy who just turned 8 last week. And he has long, flowing, luscious locks, he calls them, and very much loves wearing pink things. And he very much loves wearing dresses, or as I would say, he sort of paints with the full rainbow of gender. I'm just still coaching him on when people assume he's a girl, he gets very mad at them and says, "But do I look like a girl?" And I'm like, "Buddy." That's an Elsa dress. Like, you're literally wearing an Elsa dress. And then we start to get into, right, how much I want him to be completely free, and also navigate the world that is still not free. And how do we find freedom even while navigating this world, which is still trying to sort of squish us into these boxes? But what I would want for all of my kids, and in fact what I want for everyone, is to not just tolerate the trans community, not just to accept the trans community, not just to celebrate the trans community, but I want you to be jealous of us. I want you to look at us, and I want you to wonder how we got to be the way that we are, how we got free, and how you can find that same freedom in each of your lives, how you can find those choices, those moments of taking fabric that is supposed to be used for quilting and making clothes out of it, because why not? Of taking those moments, those dizzy spells, and being glad that they teach us that we still have a brain. Right? How can we take the world that we've been handed, these little shards of glass that we've been given, and make something that is more powerful and beautiful than was there before? I think that's what the trans community has to teach us. I hope that's what you learn from us. And I hope that you find those moments of possibility and pride every single day this month and for the whole rest of the year. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Trystan. It's great to learn about you and your life. So we have a closing hymn now. Please rise as you're able and sing "How Could Anyone," number 1053 in the teal hymnal. We will sing the verse through twice because it's kind of a short song.
Anyone ever tell you you were less
How perfect that song was after hearing Trystan's talk. So now we'll move on to our offering. Each week, we take an offering to support this church and to share half of the basket with a local organization doing good works in our community. We have been partnering with NAYA, the Native American Family Center, since October, and our partnership will run through next month, the end of August. The Eastrode Board is in the process of choosing another partner or partners starting in September. NAYA serves Native Americans across the metro area. Their mission is to enhance the diverse strengths of our youth and families in partnership with the community through cultural identity and education. As an urban Indian agency, NAYA impacts the lives of over 10,000 individuals from more than 380 tribal backgrounds annually. If you are attending online, you may donate by visiting our website and click the donate button, or you may scan the QR code on the screen. And if you are here for the first time, we invite you to let the basket pass and truly be our guest. The gifts of our congregation will now be most gratefully received. Seated and join us in singing our gratitude song. The words will be on the screen. We'll now extinguish the chalice with these words by Maddie Cefantis. We extinguish this flame, but we keep its light in our hearts, with its message of love and justice, taking it outside these walls to the world we live in until we are together again. for a happy hour between 5 to 7 for refreshments and food. Please come and join us if you can. Keen's is announcing thank yous to the yard cleanup crew from yesterday, Linda, Tim, Richard, and Keen. A lot was done and much more to do. And Katie has an announcement, our board president.
Hello, everyone. The preschool is probably going to open, I say probably because they're still working through their permits, but most likely opening August 7th. Their hours are going to be Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. None of us should come into the building unless we're working or doing a specific volunteer project during those days and times. If you do come in, you're going to be required to sign a logbook, because this is just to protect the kids in the preschool and to make sure we're doing things properly. It's part of keeping their permit where it needs to be. And so if we do come in, we may use the offices, which are on the north side of the hallway, and this room, and of course the bathroom, but we cannot enter into the preschool space, which will be all of the classrooms and the Thatcher room, Monday through Friday, 6 to 6. But after 6, meetings and such can be held there. But we're starting to meet, the board's starting to meet in the chapel, and I think that we're going to start doing potlucks in the chapel as well, sort of like the way we do our tea, like our Winterfest tea and stuff. We'll put tables out and do potluck in the chapel. We'll probably have to add a cleaning budget for the carpets. Let me see what else. I think that's it. We probably will need to do a key recall for anyone who has a key to the building. We're going to probably rekey the building soon, not immediately because we've got enough on our plates, but just be aware that we'll be asking people to turn their keys in, or just we'll let you know when they won't work anymore. Any questions about any of the preschool stuff? I can answer questions. I can try, anyway. All right. Thanks, everyone, for your patience. I know it can be very frustrating, and it's a lot of change, but it will bring in a significant income, and it will also keep our parking lot and church very active during the week, which will help keep the use of it for people who are using the building and not people sleeping on the doorstep. So, I mean, we're still going to have that, but at least we'll have more activity and it'll be more lively here. So, thanks, everyone.
Please check your Petals newsletter for additional events and announcements. And thanks to all who contributed to today's service. Next Sunday, Reverend Robin will be back, followed by Spirited Conversations. So I hope you can come back next Sunday. Let's all join now in our unison benediction. The words will be on the screen.
Go out into the world in peace. Have courage. Hold on to what is good. Return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering. Honor all beings.
The service is now ended, and it's time for socializing and coffee back in the, well, I guess we're doing it out in the hall today. Go in peace.